Welcome, everybody. Happy Saturday evening. We've got a whole bunch of somethings and a whole lot of nothings, but here to dive into that is German Dave and myself. Maple Dave is out with some illness, so going to be us two plus whoever wants to hop in, because obviously today is Saturday, which means you can come in and talk. We're going to cover some of the awkward transfer shenanigans that happened over the past couple of days and kind of have it see what you guys think, whether or not it's a hoopla or it's actually a good thing going through. So here with me is a German Dave. How are you, German Dave?
I'm great. Hey, congratulations to the US for winning the gold medal with the Avengers.
More like Steph Curry, because LeBron didn't do shit, but that's my thoughts
Dude,
there.
in 4 years, when those are retired, the European teams will slap that.
Yeah, it was single-handedly Curry. I'm sorry to the bronze sexuals, but definitely Curry, an absolute monster that whole tournament.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The old guys were cooking, and
absolutely.
especially Curry. He saved them single-handedly against Serbia. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the short and 3-point line, it's formed like a mid-range jumper instead of a 3-pointer. So
Yeah, it was. You could tell like Curry and Durant were just absolutely killing it. LeBron with his little girly layups, can't even dunk anymore for some reason. But that's just me being petty. But anyways, the line is in the comments. If you guys want to hop in, you guys can hop in. We'll talk about it. I think. Where do you want to go first? Do you want to start with Todibo, or do you want to talk about Nico Gonzalez, or do you
I
want to?
think let's get the bad news out the way. So whoever wants to talk about that, hey, 10 toes down, for example, he seems worried. So let's start with that point, I guess.
All right. Well, let's start with it. So, Todibo, obviously, if you've been under the rock or doing what normal human beings do and stay away from X, Todibo, unfortunately, has been pickpocketed from us by West Ham. So, West Ham came in and essentially swooped it. I believe you and I talked about it in pre-show prep, where it was 10 plus 30. It was, again, loan formula similar to ours. The only difference is that West Ham has agreed to a 20% sell-on fee if Todibo does pop off and do some stuff. And I believe the main reports is that Giuntoli did not want to do that high of a formula for the sell-on clause, which is what put Nice off and essentially put West Ham in. And I think there's a couple of things, right? Like I've seen people kind of call, Giuntoli a flop of a sporting director, and then I've seen, other things where it's just like, well, Serie A clubs can't compete and it's embarrassing and yada yada yada. And I think out of all the polarizing statements or arguments for it, I think you and I both kind of agree it's a little bit in the middle, right? Where there's some things that were done right, there were some things that were done poorly, but at the same time, I just kind of want to laugh at all the people that said the European Super League was bad, because right now you can have a mediocre team like West Ham come in and swoop in a player like it's absolutely nothing because of the finance disparity that goes across the entire top 5 leagues. And definitely,
look, the football world is so unbalanced. Chelsea has a roster of 44 players right now. They have 8 goalkeepers in their first team on the books. 8 goalkeepers. That is how dumb the Premier League is. And they don't care about what is normal to us, or they don't have the thoughts, or they don't have to have like second thoughts with their transfer strategies and everything. They have the money laying right there. Like they recovered from their financial problems last season, or the ones that had problems. Now we will see in a year's time if their numbers were correct and everything. But yeah, they don't have to care about they can splash their money basically. And yeah, we were trying to lowball them because we don't have the money laying right there. So we wanted to get him done like with the money that we could afford at that moment, and that was the 10 plus 25. So yeah, and they just came in and said 10 plus 30. So they put even 5 million on top of it, and the 20% sell-on cost, and that is a huge amount of money for Nice West Ham sells him at some point.
They will.
All of us know Chelsea will splash 60 million on him in a year or whatever. Even if he performs mediocre, it's the name. He's a young French defender. They will splash 60 on him, and there's the money for Nice.
Like they did with Badishile, who couldn't even save a goal line clearance to save his life.
Oh my god, that was so bad.
All right, time to welcome in Toto. Toto is here. Acknowledge our Italian tribal chief.
Tribal chief
How
is back.
How are things? Yeah.
It's things might be on fire, things might not be on fire. I'm just
OTC.
Yeah, we've got OTC in the building. Well, we're kicking things off with Todibo. You wanna spill out your thoughts before we really, really dive deep into this?
Yeah, I mean, if this, if this kind of, I think, I hope this kind of served as a wake up call for, some of these, Juventini who, are freaking out about selling, Heisen and Sule, right? When I read this, I'm like, yeah, sure. I was, it was a target, right? So when you don't get the target, you're disappointed. It's actually kind of, I guess you can consider it the second target for center back that we've tried to get that we weren't able to because, the Prem came in and just was able to do what we can't. So, the one thing I would say to some of those Juventini, we're broke. It is what it is.
Yep.
We can only spend what we sell, especially this year. This year, probably into the next summer mercado, until we're actually, showing, profitability again, which I think they're targeting around maybe 2026, 2027 season.
Yep.
So it sort of is what it is. It's kind of like a reality. The Prem makes what 4 times more than we do on TV rights.
Absolutely.
And that's every year. Right?
A freshly promoted team gets 120 million TV money. That is no sponsorship, no other revenues, nothing, just TV money. 120 million for a freshly promoted team.
You don't even get 100 million for winning Serie A anymore.
No, it's like 30.
So it is what it is, right? And that's compounded every year, right? So West Ham's been, every year they're making that much more just on TV rights, right? So
and by the way, they for example, they sold last season Declan Rice for 127 something million to Arsenal, so they have that money.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it is what it is. Like, so the fact that, with that happening, that we still were able to get a Douglas Luiz from the Prem I don't know, like if people realize, because it's been a while, like how big that is. And we only had to get rid of 2 fringe players, youth guys. So that's it. Like, don't get attached to any of these youth guys for a while until we get to the point where we don't have to sell them to fund the mercado. And we're not there yet.
No.
So
no.
It just is what it is. So we lost to Debo. I mean, that's it, like I said, it sucks. We'll probably wind up getting somebody, towards the end of the mercado that, they think, and that's where Mota's going to come in, right? So like for the target, for the positions where we don't get our first, second, target, where we have to settle for something else, that's where you're hoping Mota, who, from what I'm understanding, is, a coach that develops players, because apparently Allegri couldn't, right? But so if he can develop players, that's what you're going to hope for, because we're not going to get A+ in every single department. We're not even going for a striker. We're reintegrating Milik back into the squad, right? We still don't have any wingers yet. Hopefully we're gonna have Koopmeyers, obviously, right? So it is what it is. That's why Juntuli is pinching every penny, because he doesn't have many pennies to work with. And another thing, all this deadwood that we still can't unload. That's why we probably weren't able to do a little bit more for Todibo or whatever. So It is what it is. It sucks, but I'm still happy so far with what we've been able to bring in, and I'm sure we're gonna have a couple more additions, and then we go from there.
And you have two big rocks that are holding everything down in McKennie and Chiesa. Like, those two are holding and hampering a lot of things, right? Because if Chiesa were sold for 2025, McKennie for his 15, that's easily
those are 35 to 40 laying right there.
Yeah, it's huge. And then you also account for Chiesa's obnoxious salary too. There's so much to play with because, like, for example, when you look at that big 20% sell-on clause, West Ham doesn't care because West Ham has capital to dick around with. They'll say, "Shit,
Yep.
you want 20%? Fine, make it 25," right?
Yep.
And then you look at us where it's just like, okay, great, we might need to flip this guy in a year or two. So for us, that 20% isn't favorable for us in that regards. So that's where the issue comes in. And then also, like LJJ says, we have Kostic as well. We don't even know what the hell's going to happen with him. He's still there. Same thing with Tech. Tech is still there. Tech's been training on his own. He's been training in private, but again, Tech's also still on the roster. So I mean, like I said, this is going to be one of those things where it's just like, I think maybe you get Coop Myers as the main target, and then you get other pieces as well on the side. And then this is kind of where, the stands, your guy's going to have to cook. Like, your coach is going to have to develop and do this, right? Because
Yep.
that was one of the things that people were saying. He can bring in players, elevate their game, and make them good. Okay, well, he's going to have to do this because you'll get a couple of pieces that you want, but now you're going to have to settle and deal with stuff that you don't want. Kind of like a guy that got canned last year that had a bunch of minors and made them profitable. So that's going to be one of the big tests from his coaching capabilities as well. Is he able to take a Gatti and make him perform what he needs him to do? Is he able to utilize, like, for example, what he has, or backups, right? Is if he's able to do that. So there's going to be one of those things where he's going to be tested. Like, yeah, I saw the reports that he's not pleased with Gentili for not getting Todibo, but now at the same time, you don't have Todibo, but you're going to have to start doing his thing. Like, he's going to start developing and bringing players in that aren't normally that you'd expect. But like, for example, Gatti, you're going to have to develop a Gatti to make him gain a different aspect to his game. Maybe you might have to develop Giallo and have Giallo because we'll cover it, but Galeno's essentially on hold. I don't think that deal's going to happen anymore, but you're going to have to be able to play and adjust things now.
No, the problem is just because you said Galeno. Look, if we do what is the most likely deal to happen next? Nico Gonzalez or Coop Miners?
I don't know anymore. To be honest with you, I don't know because because I keep hearing, oh, great, we have an agreement for a loan formula with Fiorentina, and then now they're saying they're still working on it. So it's like, I don't know.
So right now, let's say it's Nico Gonzalez because it's a little bit less money than Coop Miners. It's 30 million. So if we do that deal and we spend 30 million, we have to earn 30 million, by the way, before we can pay the money for Coop Miners again. And I don't want to disappoint you guys, but if Chiesa and McKennie, if we're not able to sell them and earn that money that we spent on the Nico Gonzalez deal, we can't spend the 55 million on Coop Miners.
Yeah, I mean, and the only way we would be able to do it is it's not going to be all the cash up front. It'll be some sort of installment. That way, not all of that will hit the books.
And by the way,
right away.
But Atalanta doesn't play those
games.
No,
Atalanta will. I think that one's going to have to be cash up front, but probably for Fiorentina.
Fiorentina has to do us a solid at this point. We've practically funded them, essentially. The only reason
they still want Goodmanson. They can't go for Goodmanson until they sell Gonzalez. So, and that's the thing. Like, try to look. If you're trying to compare it with the Prem, right? It's a losing battle because it's just the numbers. The math doesn't math, right?
No.
But if you're looking at Juve's Mercato in relation to the rest of Serie A, like, look at the big teams, right? Look at what's Inter. Have they done any splashes? No, they've just re-signed. They re-upped with their players. They re-upped with Barella. They re-upped with Lautaro, but they haven't splashed any cash, right?
Milan had a pretty good Mercato so far. No, not as good as ours so far, but they got their left-footed center back that can.
But even those, right? Like they didn't do. It was like you said, compared to Juve, like with the names that they brought in, like instant impact, like walk-on starters, right? And then if you want to call Roma a big team, like, yeah, fine. You can say they got Sule for 20-something million, right? They got a forward for around the same amount.
I still want
Yeah.
to know where Roma has that damn money from.
Well, the
were
thing
they
with
able-
Sule was installment for them. So even though we got to show the Plus Valenza on
Crazy.
our books immediately, they're
Yeah,
paying that 20-something million, I think, over 4 years.
yeah, over
Right.
the contract
Yeah,
length.
exactly. And everybody's like, oh, yeah, they're going to be scary. Like, look at their attack. But what did they do in midfield? Their midfield's not great, and neither is their
Yep.
defense. So even if they'll score a couple extra goals by having Sule and their new forward, I have a feeling that's going to get negated by the amount of goals that they're going to leak in anyway. So, good luck. If that wants to be your new, your new hipster team, have at it.
And I know, right? But even like, for example, touching on Roma briefly, like for me, it's just like that team is not physically suited at all. Dybala has legs of glass. Sule, in my opinion, Sule will take another 3 or 4 years until he fully bulks up.
Yeah. And he's tiny.
He's tiny. He's very tiny. So it's like, for example, he might do fine in Serie A, but you take him in Europe, Sule is absolutely getting manhandled. And that's honestly, it's a matter of fact, because he's not that big. He's not that big. And that's one of the things.
Did Pellegrini lose his starting job?
Exactly. That's the other thing too.
He's still my guy.
My only thing that I'm concerned with is that Roma team is probably going to fire their OC 3 quarters into the season. I don't
after
think
they just signed, he just extended his contract, but it's very well possible.
It's very well possible.
Yeah, look what they did with Mourinho.
Very well possible.
I think my bet was January.
Yeah, and the funny thing is too, like, if in 20 days when the Mercado closes, we still have some holes, we could still keep the cash that we did get from the sales and see what pops off in the winter. Right? You do still have a winter Mercado to go on. So, it's I don't think it's all really, doom and gloom if we don't hit, every single aspect. But again, that's what the next gen's there for. Right? You're going to bring up a couple of guys. They re-signed a few next gen guys. There's other guys that got, that started getting looks during preseason. And, we'll just slot them in where we have to. I don't, Gonzalez, if we're not going to loan him out to a Serie A club, I'd rather just keep him.
Yeah, well, right. Well, and I think the two things that are crucial right now is you need Coop. I think these preseason games show that you need Coop, because Locatelli and Vlahovic by each other are not it. Like it's just not.
Oh, no.
Look, it's not, honestly. You need a midfielder that is able to give you double-digit goal contributions, and Coop Myers has been doing that for 3 seasons. So you need Coop Myers, because I am not confident at all if this is what we have and we're expecting Dusan to lead the line. He will get the sweaty cheese goals, and that'll probably be the summation of his career, because in my opinion, I think Dusan is a perfect striker for a Genoa or a mid-table team. I can't say Sassuolo anymore because they got relegated. But a Torino, like, in my opinion, I think that's his level. That's his ceiling. I watched the film again at Fiorentina with him just to see if I missed anything, and it's what I expected. The dude has to have everything handheld for him. He's not. The fact that we're paying $22 million a season for him still pisses me off, but I think Coop is able to mask a lot of his inadequacies up top, and I think you need to get Coop, and then you also need to get, as much as it pains me to say this, but you need to get Mr. Gonzalez from Fiorentina, even though I am not a big fan of purchasing players from Fiorentina, because you look at Gonzalez's numbers. Gonzalez's numbers the last 2 seasons are twice the production Chiesa's done in his entire career. Entire career. Yep. Gonzalez has done more in his last 2 seasons at Fiorentina than Chiesa has his whole career.
Yeah.
And the fact that people want to tell me that the Italian tax doesn't exist, Gonzalez is 30, Chiesa was 60.
By the way, we need to go back to old Fiorentina streams or watch-alongs from us, how people laughed at Nico Gonzalez, and I was telling them, dude, he's a great winger. And now everybody's saying, oh, we need him. Yeah, we need him, but yeah.
I think actually after Gonzalez, there's really nobody else on that team that I'd want to look at anyway. So yeah, we just ended in this Mercado.
Well, and I think, like, for example, when I'm looking at it, right, or because people are like, So let's transition a little bit to Gonzalez, right? So one of the things that I was seeing where people are like, we sold Sule for 25 and bought Gonzalez for 35. What a bunch of losers. Okay, let me illustrate this. Sule has not even been called up to the national team for major tournaments. Gonzalez has been and has been
World champ.
subbed by Angel Di Maria. So Di Maria was essentially the starter, which is the guy that strokes Messi harder than Messi strokes himself. So of course Di Maria is always going to play every single game if he's fit.
And DePaul strokes him more than Di Maria.
Yes, DePaul needs knee pads. But when you look at that, now that Di Maria is effectively retired from Argentina, Gonzalez has locked down the starting right wing position for Argentina. There is absolutely no way in hell that Sule gets, because right now, from what the performance and the level it is, you have that. I think the thing that people don't understand, the difference between Sule and Nico Gonzalez and what helps this current team right now is Sule is not 100% ready to roll. He is an exciting prospect. You already have that on the left with Yildiz. You can't run two exciting prospects at the same time with a striker that is not at the caliber that is able to facilitate play for those wingers.
Yeah.
So you need one guy that's established, one guy that's the prospect, and then you need your midfield to be engines to just continuously generate. Because like I said, Dusan has a 16% conversion rate. You need to create at least 5 to 6 chances a game for him to even get anything. And that's me saying he gets 1 goal every 2 games. So I don't understand why people kind of have this hard on for Sule. I'm still trying to understand the logic behind that. Because again, when you look at the numbers, you look at the statistics, Gonzalez had a better season than Sule did.
And he's in his prime.
And again, he is a ready-made product. Whether or not we get hit with the Fiorentina curse, that's a different conversation, right? That's a different story. That's why I'm a little bit apprehensive. On the numbers, the statistics, the capabilities, Gonzalez is great. He is, again, a workhorse winger.
Yeah.
But my only concern is whether or not, we bring in players from Fiorentina that have high hopes and they just never peter out for some reason.
If you get Nico Gonzalez, so the deal is 30 million. That is on the table, not 35 or nothing. We sold Sule for, what was it, 20 plus
24 plus bonus.
So we effectively rebuilt our right winger position by paying only 5 million. If you compare Sule and Nico Gonzalez, we improved or rebuilt our right winger position by paying only 5 million to get a player in his prime that gives you productivity right now. And that's a way better bet than betting on Sule.
Yeah, I mean, because we do need to win
sorry.
now. So it's like we have to stay top 4 every year.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, if you're identifying other areas of the pitch where we need that money from, like, you gotta go. Like, yeah, Mota liked him and he didn't want to sell him, but the reality is the reality. Like, we are a very financially constrained club. And that's not going to change this year or probably even next year. We're good. That's why it's good if we keep qualifying for Champions League. If we, could even like get into the knockout rounds to get in that extra money, because then you could put that money back into the club. But that money isn't coming from anywhere else other than what you produce on the pitch. So, we weren't in Champions League last year, guys. Like, that's it. We
weren't. We weren't in the Champions League last season, and we didn't sell that deadweight Chiesa. So this is the repercussions of it.
And by the way,
I mean, it'll be.
No, go for it.
Sorry, go ahead, Dave. No, I was just saying, like, and the more the only good thing is if everybody wants to kind of like look at what the good news is going into next season, not this coming one, but the following one, we're only going to have one bad contract on our books. That's it. So we'll have more flexibility next year as opposed to this one. Because all these people that we're hoping are going to be gone, like, they will not be an issue next year. The only contract is going to be Dusan's that we're looking at that doesn't fit with this new formula.
Yep. So I kind of want to go ahead, German Dave.
Just to add something that we always talk about, but people don't seem to want to understand it, because every football team or every professional football team in world football is selling young players because that is straight cash, straight profit. That is how business is done these days. The Premier League is doing that, and they aren't as dependent on the money as we are, and they are doing it. Don't get married to young prospects that don't give you that show promise, but you don't know if they are world class or will turn out world class or whatever. They are young players that will develop or will not develop. But right now, that money is essential to the club.
It's
And
it's ironic, right? Because like for example, you have people that are like, oh, there's players that are not Juve level and yada yada yada, and then it's like, oh, but Sule this and that, and it's like this kid wasn't on Juve's level. That's why he got loaned. Like you want players on Juve level, but then at the same time, you want to give this kid who hasn't played really consistently there. So it's like, are we serious here? Like, I don't know. It's just for me, like, so here, let me give you this. Give me some numbers for Mr. Gonzalez here. So when it comes to non-penalty goals, he's in the high 97 percentile, which means he is an effective goal scorer from the wing position. Non-penalty XGs, 93rd percentile. Shots total, 99th percentile. He's giving you at least 3 shots a game.
that's, by the way, top 99 percentile is one of is underneath the best in Europe's top 5 leagues, by the way.
And let me humor you with some feta cheese here, because that's kind of what he is at this point. So when I pull up him, Mr. Chiesa, when it comes to non-penalty goals, and this is his entire career, guys, not Allegri ball killing him, 43rd percentile. When it comes to shots, 73rd percentile. And I still have folks that are sitting there hoping that, oh man, I hope Chiesa gets reintegrated, because why? He runs fast? He dribbles fast? Is that what it is? Because I look at the production numbers. Nico Gonzalez is way by far ahead of him. But let's read some of the chats here, because I've totally forgotten, neglected you guys. Maple Dave says the fan base is really big on young boys. Oh boy. Good Lord, Dave.
I see no lies.
I hope he wasn't in the bathroom writing that.
I hope he wasn't holding something writing that. We'd be a little bit alarmed. All right, LJJ, Keen, Kaio, Illing, Sude, Enzo, Nicolucci, Dean. None of them are at the level to be playing a backup player for Juve if we want to be top 4 and competitive, which is absolutely true. You look at the clubs that have signed these players. Keane, Fiorentina. Caio Jorge, some random club in Brazil. Illing, Aston Villa. Sude, Roma. Bernachea, Aston Villa again. Nicolucci, still hasn't found a club. Huijsen went to Bournemouth. And when he was at Roma, he got benched because he was getting
after the first 2 games.
Because he wasn't defensively disciplined. Great, he made a goal, made some nice passes.
For every goal that he scores, he conceded one single-handedly. So plus minus 0. And by the way, all those names that you read right there from the chat brought us, what was it, 112 million? Those names made this mercato possible. It brought us Kefren Turan, Douglas Luiz, and the player that I am so proud that Dash and I got the scouting 100% right, Juan Cabal. Dash, we are prophets at this point.
I know. We always say something like that into existence. But it's like Boyan says here, even if they become world class, there's no guarantee they would in our environment. Popping off at Bournemouth is different than popping off at Juventus. No one's watching you. There's little pressure. And again, no disrespect to Bournemouth, but I'm saying as far as the world stage, you're not having all of Europe turn into Bournemouth games to watch Dean Huijsen. You're not having all of Europe tune into Roma games to watch Sule. You're only having those fringe, weird Juve fans that are into minors that do that. and some people that want to watch
Yeah.
it from spite. That's the other thing too. But there isn't an attractiveness poll. And again, folks are like sitting there like, look how Roma treats them and treats them like a king. Dude, Roma is the absolute cuck when it comes to Juventus right now, because they'll take Juve's sloppy seconds and make a freaking monument towards them. Like,
and also
I mean-
Bournemouth, by the way, earned 75 million euros today because they sold Dominic Solanke to Tottenham.
And since we're on the topic of young boys, don't get too attached to Yildiz either.
Oh no!
So I mean, even now, right, from the latest reports that we've heard, Juve was ready to renegotiate his contract and give him a raise from 300K to $1 million. And from what we're hearing now, because he switched agents and we got basically like a new Mama Rabio, except it's Papa Yildiz, they're asking for $3 million,
which I think is absolutely insane.
Which is insane. And and again, like, and if for whatever reason that doesn't work, it's a bone of contention, and we do wind up eventually selling Yildiz because of it. It is what it is. And I love watching the kid play. I do, but you can't, like, the club can't be, we can't be beholden. We can't be held hostage anymore by players. Like, look at these players that we're bringing in. None of them are making what Chiesa money is, right? Like, nobody's making $6 million. Nope. You're seeing 3.5, right? You're seeing even with Koopmeyer's coming in, not making what Chiesa's making now. So this is just, it's a new normal. It's the new reality.
Goddamn Douglas Luiz came from the Premier League and accepted $5 million per season. And then you have that goober that hasn't proven shit.
I made him into a monster. I love it.
He wants to rob the whole damn state of Turkey, man.
Is that 9 million Turkish lira he's talking about, or
no? It's euro. It's euro. In lira, it would have been 10 euros or something.
Let's touch on him. We'll go back to the stuff, but now because the iron's hot, I kind of want to touch on that bum. All right, so this is for all, the average Chiesa enjoyers or the NYC Incognito fans, Chiesa fans.
Are they still Chiesa?
Oh, they still are. They still believe I was, when I saw the list for Atletico getting released, I cried tears of joy because Chiesa is not on that squad list at all. Because they're like, man, I bet you they're going to reintegrate Chiesa now. Like, it's funny for me. I'm spite reading on X just for all the Chiesa stands, because they're like, now he's going to get reintegrated. He's going to get reintegrated for the next gen. Now he's going to get reintegrated for Atletico. Didn't make the squad there. He's going to get reintegrated for Como. Probably not. So
absolutely
your guy,
not probably not.
Your guy, because hey, he just needs to prove himself and yada yada yada. Okay. That Turkish side that offered him a gig, I believe they're playing in Champions League footy. So he could have gone there, lit Turkey up, and probably moved somewhere with a higher wage or a higher salary in January or at the end of the season. But no, he's not going to. And again, Mota still hasn't added him onto the roster and will still refuse to do so. So either somebody is holding the club hostage, or he's spiting and he's going to go join somewhere where he'll think he'll get more money. But the problem is if he sits for the whole year, he ain't getting shit. He's not going to get a raise. If anything, he's going to get less than what he thinks. It's to me, it's just the fact that, like, people still hold that man's water baffles me. Absolutely baffles me.
They're licking his spit, brother. He could have spit on the street and they're licking it straight off of there. It's so crazy to me, man.
And like I said, it's basically holding the rest of the Mercado hostage. I think that led more to us losing Todibo than Giuntoli's poor negotiating skills, in my estimation. So you can do what you can do. Although I will say this, in a couple of years when we're back in, when we're back in the black on the books, and we don't need to sell to fund their Mercato because we actually have leftover money or what have you, fuck Serie A.
Absolutely.
Every single one of these teams.
Absolutely.
I don't want to hear.
Except of Monza. Except
yeah.
of Monza. Monza is kind of
if people who act in good faith, right? But it shouldn't be us calling you. It's you calling us.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, let's see. Let's talk. Otherwise, I don't want to hear it. I really, really don't. I'm so sick of it. Like, yeah, Atalanta, I always give them props for being a very well-run club. But some of these teams, especially the Atalanta types, the Bologna types, and what have you, like, just because you're in Champions League right now, and you think that you're actually like a big club on a consistent basis, like, just wait.
Oh, it's gonna be hilarious! It's gonna be hilarious.
Can't wait! I can't wait! Really
that is something I am all here for spite watching. Dahl says he brought his gal over. That's why he signed Alicia Gyatman. I see what he did there. God bless, man. She actually did pretty well in the women's game. They're in a tournament. Carr says you guys corrupted our sweet German
nobody
Dave.
corrupted me. I was the first on this Chiesa train. Hey, what the hell? He's turning the timeline around.
Hey, man, German Dave was fuck Chiesa before fuck Chiesa became a thing.
I was the first one, man.
I remember he used to come in just steaming hot. He's just like, hey, you guys remember the one guy that we had as a left winger but can't play as a left winger because he sucks? Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
So Gaetano's he's asking about that. Yes, it is confirmed that he did want $9 million a season to go play in Turkey.
The question is that an actual demand that he has, or did his agent, again that idiot of an agent, just tell Beşiktaş, let's write down a responsible amount of a salary, and if they pay those 9 million, hey, why not? And if not, they're highballing them basically. I don't think that there's an actual like offer or something with Beşiktaş there.
Yeah,
in my opinion,
I don't know. It's, to me, is ironic. Dahl says Chiesa's finished. He's been crap after Pirlo when he thought he was Mbappe too fast. Now he's the next Bernardeschi. That's actually being disrespectful to Bernard. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Maple Dave says he could be the next Icardi Zaniolo if he goes to the rehab center of Turkey. But no, that's only Galatasaray. LJJ says U.S. inflation on that price. Or he's injured like he is always. No one remembers his injury record is disgusting. Who, Chiesa's? We do. We still talk about it.
Hey, and last season, even though he was healthy,
and you know what the club did while he was injured? Yeah.
They made a documentary off him.
And you know what the club did? Yeah. They made a documentary. They made him like basically the promo guy on like the EA stuff. So the club support, they gave him not only physical rehabilitation, mental rehabilitation. He was seeing club shrinks. Like, they did everything they could to get that guy back on the field as much as they could. And he got minutes as soon as he was able to play again, even though clearly mentally he still had a big block. So the club supported him.
They were flying him to Barcelona to talk to like sports psychologists so he got confidence in his legs again. Like, there was times I remember like Chiesa.
That's what I'm saying. Out. Like, the club did what they could for him.
Yeah. To me, it's just insane. It really is. So he says Chiesa, Artur, and Western. No, it's not Artur. Nobody wants Artur. That's the issue.
Like, Artur would get a loan again or something like that.
Yeah, Artur is going to get a loan. That's the only thing I can think of for him.
It's until the contract runs out, like we won't earn any money on him.
Yeah, you're not going to get anything off Artur. Chiesa and Weston are going to be the big ones that are holding us issues.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Last season we renewed Artur's contract for one more, right? So
just to loan him.
Just to loan him, but after this season, his contract should run out, right?
Yes.
So it's his last year. Yeah, we won't see any money for him. It's gonna be another loan or a contract termination from both sides or whatever. That's a zero.
Big zero. Maple Dave says Oak Tree will pick him up on a free and offer him $2 million a season. I would laugh if he goes
And
to
the
Inter.
snake will accept.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, it'll be
Dahl-
over. It'll be over 2026. So his original deal ran through 2025. So they added another year.
It has. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
so it'll
gotcha.
be 20. Yeah, so depending on 2025, 2026 season will be his last one.
Just sell him to Bologna at $2 million with a 50% sell-on clause. Oscar says,
let's involve Basel somehow into the deal.
Yeah, no thanks. I don't want to catch
just to
case.
piss them off. Dude, I bet Bologna doesn't want to see Basel anytime soon. Man.
This chat's so active. I'm trying to catch up to the chat, but they keep messaging. Because now I'm losing context on some of these. So Dahl says the only reason why I wanted Todibo is he's got 90 pace in FIFA, a sweaty card. I think that's because he's fast. Boyan says the craziest thing is that he ain't even good. I know Chiesa's terrible. Maple Dave says then he'll turn into a snake troll I hid in the thumbnail. Oh yeah, I saw it. It's in the back corner. Carr says I've never heard German Dave cuss so much.
You don't know me that good yet. I have gone a couple of times.
Oh boy. Vinny says 9 goals, 2 assists.
Thank you. We need to present those numbers to the public. People don't get it, man.
Dahl is. I don't know who has more heat for Chiesa, you or Dahl. He has a long line of Italian MLS flop legends: Giovinco, Bernardeschi, Insigne, and Chiesa will be the next.
Giovinco did good in MLS. I remember his first few years. He popped off pretty good.
And then Jeff says, guys, let's go to Chiesa's Sage is done, plus Ramadani is an idiot.
And by the way, I think Chiesa has one more World Cup on the bench where Berardi starts in front of him before he goes to the MLS.
Don't mention Berardi, please. I'm just worried. Every time I hear that name, I'm worried that we're gonna
Dude,
get him.
Berardi, if he would Berardi fit right now would have given us a better goal contribution record than Chiesa. 100%.
LJJ says if he would get 9 million, yeah, he would have gone. I think that's would have been the case. Maple Dave says Carr loves Tia. He knows all her 5 lyrics in her single, Black and White.
Man, the poor girl.
Leave her alone, Dave. Stop cooking her. Dave is
still
just throwing
teenager,
strays at her. I mean, she's 25, but still, Dave is just completely giving strays. Dahl says, I'm not surprised Saudi ain't after him with Papa Ronaldo giving transfer ideas. I don't think he'll go to Saudi. Boyan says maybe it was Papa Chiesa that went to save the situation.
What situation did he save?
He's trying to see if I don't know. There hasn't been anything that he's met with the club. I think Papa Chiesa's trying to save his career because apparently his son can't be an adult. KB says, so glad to see 21 viewers. Yeah, awesome. Maple Dave, it's not a complex song. Dahl says he was crying. Milik, yes, Milik being reintegrated back into the squad because I think Juve have decided we're not going for backups anymore. So Milik is in. I think Milik is fine as long as he can stay healthy. I think that's going to be the big thing.
Which you think wouldn't be tough since you're not a starter, but here we are.
Yeah. Here we are. But our starter's a bum. KB says Tia's songs only consist of 5 works for her lyrics. Peak artistry. Oof. And yet she is one of the biggest content influencers for you.
The poor girl, man.
You're catching strays. Dude, oh my goodness. I saw the Instagram post with her and Celine on there, and the comments were ripping them.
Dude, have you seen how Dusan nearly took her head off? The poor girl sitting behind the goal.
That's her fault.
Oh my god. He missed the goal and nearly took her head off.
Oh my goodness. Oh man, yeah, people. I knew it. I said it back then. I said the social media push that they're doing with these TikTokers is really poor taste right now.
Before you continue to read, the poor Jeff is trying to get in for like half an hour now.
I know, because we bring him in and then his thing would die and then he would leave.
What's up, guys?
There we go. Now
can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Did the hurricane Wi-Fi finally pass?
I think so. Yeah, it's been going good. I mean, what happens is we're in the time in Florida where, so by 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock, it's perfect weather. By 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock, it looks like it's raining cats and dogs, and that's what happens. storm. It looks like it's all hell's about to break loose.
See, I thought it was that all the OnlyFans girls in Florida were using up all the bandwidth to make their videos, that there isn't any internet left for you guys.
Probably that and mining crypto as well. Don't forget about that part.
Bro, make sure you mine some Uvenium, because that's going to be the next thing that's going to pop off. Uvenium. Uverrectum as well.
And
With a
also
touch of
all
Malta.
the OnlyFans models went to Bournemouth now because of a certain defense.
Peak.
The Juve that we are now, we're the influencers club. We're not the OnlyFans. We just have the YouTubers. That's it. That's what we do. I Show Speed, Logan Paul. Who else? Well, we got Alicia Lehman now playing and also influencer. So yeah, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, this is a good story. So Piachka actually had a pretty solid season, and he went back to his boyhood club in Dinamo. So he's back in Croatia. So fortunately for him, his knees just couldn't hold up, but he was an absolute beast before he blew his knees out. Fortunately, he caught some bad pitch and just never was the same. Dahl says, I think Gatti gets unnecessary hate, and Danilo, the back line is sufficient. Our attack is dog shit weak. Yeah, well, you have a deuce on there.
I don't think we hate on Gatti. I just think he's inconsistent, and I think
he's saying social media. I think social media.
All right.
Yeah, but
I think Sule would have saved us, to be honest with you. But
I disagree respectfully.
I agree. I was just kidding. I thought though, yeah, I was like, I know you guys were talking about the Tolibo one, and the only thing that irritated me, not that we got the player, we didn't get the player, that hurt me more, that we spend the energy and the time and it backfired. That hurts. That's probably the only thing that hurts.
No, absolutely it hurts.
100%. We over-negotiated to the point where, like, I think sometimes we kind of might have to, like, bit the bullet for $1 million more. I know it sounds a little like, it sounds like we're bending the knee. I just felt like we over-negotiated on this one, and just like you have to speed it up, and sometimes you have to wrap it up. That's just how it is.
Usually I agree with you, Jeff. The problem is if we have to bite the bullet for Todibo and put 5 more in obligations on the table, and then we have to bite the bullet again for Atalanta and put 5 million more on the table, and then we have to bite the bullet on Nico Gonzalez and put 5 million more on the table,
Or bite the bullet for at least one of them. At least say, who do we
look still in play?
We bite the bullet.
I think it's Coop. I think Coop's the one they're biting it.
Yeah.
It has to, because we don't have an advantage on leverage. We don't leverage. The only leverage we have on Coop is that Coop wants to stay. But That could also go down the more time passes, because if we're not getting it done, he's going to get impatient. He's probably not going to care. And that looks bad on us. So
well, I mean, you got to give the bro some credit, man. He forged a doctor's note so he doesn't have to play and train.
It's based. I like it, but I want him to do more. I need him to put more pressure onto Atalanta, because I feel like after this deal, we boycott every Serie A club. They are not to be dealt with anymore. It's done, dusted. Get this deal done and get the hell out of that league.
Hey, just wait for a moment in 2 years' time when Coop Miners wants to go to Manchester United and fakes doctor's notes for against us.
I don't care. The thing is, if he wants to go to United, give us a solid, obviously, just a solid, a solid bid. Obviously, since it's a Prem team, they would probably bid much faster, and the process would go much faster, and then we get a replacement. Obviously, we make a plus Valencia, and we're good. I don't care.
Speaking of Man U,
I was gonna say they paid 45 for.
Oh my god, dude! But do you know what is the dude? That is so dumb. But Mazraoui for 15 million. That is an incredible deal. Nobody's talking about that.
That one's actually good.
That one is good. But
who bought Mazraoui though?
Manchester United. They bought Mazraoui and De Ligt as a package today from Bayern.
Jesus. I mean, obviously, I think with this buy, particularly for me, I think Man U gets screwed. They're gonna get screwed, and Ter Hag has to get fired. I don't think he's a good coach. I think he's an arrogant little prick.
Oh,
that man, us getting rid of De Ligt was a very rare Paratici W. Very rare.
By accident, completely by accident. Like it's not like he knew what he was doing.
Well, I don't think it was Paratici. I think it was Arriva Bene. Like that was an Arriva Bene W, but that was more so Delit just saying I don't want to be here anymore.
No, not only that. I think it's a Max Allegri W because honestly, out of all three, was it like 2-3 years that he was there? His best year was under Max Allegri's first year. He did the best he could under Max Allegri, and then when he left to Bayern, we screwed Bayern over. So
I think it's almost like Max actually helped players look better than what they actually are.
No, Max doesn't develop players, guys. Max doesn't develop
Max
players.
is able to help hide
does.
players' weaknesses so Juve could sell them for obnoxious prices with little equity, kind of like, an OnlyFans model fan that went to a Prem club with only 2 games under his belt. Some youngsters that also funded moves for a Dougie Luiz because, a certain bald-headed coach that everybody hated was able to overinflate their values.
Do you know what was the most hilarious thing today? Manchester United fans doing graphics that De Ligt won a trophy at every station he was at, and then them being hopeful that they will win something.
This is unimaginable copium, to be honest with you.
Oh my god.
I don't know what to say though. Like, yeah, I do say one thing when it comes to Max Allegri. I call him a defensive guru. He definitely knows how to enhance the defensive players to like new heights. He's not the best when it comes with attacking players. Usually with the Max Allegri system, it's a lot harder for strikers to score goals. Regardless, like Higuain did great. But what I'm saying is that usually, Max is like good when it comes to building good defenses. So yeah. Kudos
and also Higuain is all-time greatest, maybe far-fetched, but he is one of the great strikers that we watched. So he kind of,
especially in Serie A,
he kind of can overcome a coaching philosophy that isn't as set up for a striker.
It was, I don't know. It's definitely, I don't know what to say. It was like, it's definitely weird though. This Mercato, like I'm probably going to have to give it right now a 6 out of 10. We get Coop. I feel like we get a 7 out of 10. And then hopefully maybe get a right back and a proper center back in the January or next Mercato. That's what I say.
So my thought is this: to kind of push back on you there, if we purchase a center back, that means Gatti is going into right back, more than likely.
I'm okay with that.
The problem is, so we need a center back, we need a midfielder, and we need a winger. Those are, what is it? Midfielder, Cope minus the 55 million, Nico Gonzalez, 30. That's already 85 million. So if you add in a defender as well, I don't know. At this point, in my opinion, get Hermoso for free. Don't pay a dime on a defender for now. Just do a makeshift defense for now, and take care of the other positions, because we will never be able to sell that much to get in addition another viable center back as well.
Here's the kind of funny thing about that, right? Because, like, for example, remember when people are like, well, we don't need good defenders if we're playing offensive football, if we're doing high press. So then why is everybody losing their fucking mind over a center back?
Because everybody wanted Calafiori, and then they were said that we missed on Calafiori and his aura. And Todibo was the next one in line with aura. And
the only guy with long hair and aura is Roman Reigns. Changed my mind. But anyways, but when I look at that, and it's just like, okay, great. So you want offensive football with, high press. Why are we worried about high skill center backs at this point? Because you have Bremer, and then you'll have another center back, whether it's Danilo or another piece. The main thing that makes that system work is going to be your midfield and your wingers. Because I never finished the one stat about Nico Gonzalez that people don't forget about or underestimate. Nico Gonzalez is one of the more defensive wingers out there. Even though he's very good at goal scoring, he has one of the higher tackles percentage, interceptions percentage, and blocks percentages for an offensive winger. So Nico Gonzalez can do the part, both parts. And for that system, for a Motta system to work, you need your whole team playing defense. not Mr. Chiesa, who can't play defense at all, because Gonzalez is great in the air. Gonzalez is great by blocking. Because, like, for example, let's show you the numbers here real quick, because I am a spiteful individual. So you look at these numbers here, and there you go. Tackles, 60th percentile. Interceptions, 71. Blocks, 74. Clearances, 39. Aerial battles, 199. That is Nico Gonzalez. Let's move over to Chico Sticks over here. 62, 58, 51, 7, and 1. Is that someone you want?
In a multi-system, probably not. Absolutely not. I mean, look, I think if I have a wild prediction. I don't think it's gonna happen, but if we get Coop, Nico, and then I know it's just wild, and sign Mats Hummels for like 1 year.
No, I heard Hummels so much, but trust me, he is
Yeah.
so old and so slow. He can't work on a four-man backline. I'm sorry, but he can't. It only worked at Dortmund because Emre Can was playing an additional center back, and they were basically playing a five-man backline with him because of that. And that's the only reason it worked. And we can't sacrifice a midfielder just to accommodate Hummels. Like, he is great at the ball, for example. His long balls are incredible. His passing is really good, but he's a defensive liability. Like, trust me, I read it so much that people want Hummels, but no. Trust me, no. There's a reason he wasn't called up for Germany, for the national team. If you try to play a somewhat higher defensive line, which is what we are trying, like you saw in preseason games, he will cost you. He will cost you 100%.
That's funny. Fun fact: Danilo has more assists than Chiesa. But Chiesa's glazed on the media. So he's also saying that Ten Bumhog got Xerxes, but apparently he's still adjusting, and Ten Hag doesn't like Serie A players. Oh boy.
Yeah, Manchester United paid 110 million euros in no, sorry. Yeah, 110
for
million
Xerxes
euros
and
on two Serie A strikers.
I gotta be honest,
Dude,
man. Like,
that business, man.
Must be nice to be a Prem team, to be like, oh, you buy Xerxes for what? How much was it? 60 mil or 70 mil? I don't exactly know.
Xerxes for 40, Højlund for 70.
Okay, yeah, it's nice that they get to buy these players and then complain. Like, that is insane to me.
Privilege.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and also what is so hilarious to me, they are spending that money and still perform like trash. Them at Chelsea. Jeff, I don't know if you're like Chelsea bought again a winger for 65 million yesterday or today. And they have a bloated roster. They have 44 players on their roster right now, Jeff. And eight goalkeepers in the first team. 8.
Oh, it's insane to me that, like, to run a proper team, you need a right sporting director. It's got to start from the top down. Like, you can't just go in there and just binge and shop players as if you're on Amazon, being like, oh, I like this guy, I'm gonna swipe on this and then order it, and then hopefully the package comes in 2 days. It's insane to me. It's nuts.
I heard the reason that they're doing this is because they're pretty certain they're going to get hit with a transfer ban. So they won't be able to do anything for a while, and they'll have enough players to get them through that gap, which is fucking wild.
Dude, oh my God. Oh, they are so dumb. Yeah. Do you want to know a funny side story, by the way, on Bayern and De Ligt? Because the fans of Bayern Munich were protesting against them selling De Ligt because they were married to that young promising defender as well. And Bayern said, yeah, it's nice that you're protesting, but we need to earn that money from somewhere, because we bought Michael Olise for 40 or 50 something from Crystal Palace, and yeah, so that money has to come from somewhere. Dude, people are so dumb these days.
Well, I don't know. People just, like I said, they marry to the player. They look at the idea. They think of what a player could be. Like I said, I don't hate Chiesa, for example. I get why people like him. They romanticize the 2021. I get it. And then the Italian media glazed them up too. I know what he could be, but the thing is, at this point, like, you just got to let it go because he's not going to be that player unless he doesn't change his attitude. The guy's a punk. Let's just keep it a book. He's a punk, and he doesn't know how to adapt to new surroundings. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's catch up on some comments. Boyan says, "Holy buckets! How come Delit gets sold for smaller and smaller sums?" A certain internet said that we sucked a big L on that, and we got our pants pulled down and don't know how to do transfers. Oh God, that's forever my favorite take. Doll says, "Imagine if Yildiz is wank and it's Lord Allegri that made him look awesome." That's
it was Vlahovic that made him look awesome.
look awesome. Bro, Higuain was so good in his touch and dribbling. We're Berbatov level. That's actually very true. I think like that is one of the things where I think the Higuain slander is absolutely one of the most unjustified slander in the world.
Dash a 15-kilo overweight Higuain was better than Vlahovic ever was.
Yeah. Oops, wrong one.
We're talking the Maurizio Sarri era Higuain. Yeah, I agree. Like
even his first season with Juve.
Of course,
he was very good.
Yeah, of course.
He was good up until hell. Even when Sadi came to Juve like that season 2019, like Higuain's last season at Juve, he still was able to finish some ridiculous shots.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, his whole career. I think, unfortunately, just because of that miss of the World Cup, people have clowned him for it. But like, dude, Higuain was a fucking monster.
I mean,
like the way that
people forget the Napoli era too. He broke a record, 36 goals in Serie A. That was a record-breaking year for him. So, yeah,
and I think it was maybe only 1 or 2 penalties too. So like, it was actually open play goals.
No.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Zaza, they probably would have won the Scudetto.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, my pettiness wouldn't allow.
That's not pettiness. That's a statement of fact. Yeah.
We've had a lot of these like mid-table striker, like value type players that have like scored some important goals. Like, don't forget about Matri as well. He scored some bangers, like some important goals, especially the controversial game against Milan in 2011. I remember when I think it was Matri that tied the game during the first year of Conte. We were about to lose that game 2-1 or like 1-0. I think it was 1-0, and then they went to 1-1. Something like that. It was in Milan.
I take a Matri right now.
I take Fernando Torres in the twilight of his career over Dusan.
Would have been hurting a hell of a lot less money. So
give me Alexis Sanchez right now.
I'm sorry, but he went to Udinese, and if we go to Udinese, they will save 40 million.
You mean to tell me I want a 36-year-old Fabio Quagliarella after his ACL surgery as well?
Yeah. Hey, ask Ibra if he doesn't want to be a director anymore. I'll gladly take him over Dusan.
Dusan needs again with the same thing with Chiesa, same thing with Dusan. These kids need an attitude change. They need Argentina to give them an attitude adjustment.
I can imagine. I hear Comiso is making a new movie called The Italian Job with the subcaption "How I Conned Juve out of almost 100 million for a striker." Oh my goodness!
I mean, hey, that was desperation, right? We lost Ronaldo. We weren't expecting it initially. We had just Moise Kean up front, really, and Dusan was having a good run of form, and he was young, and he figured, like, okay, yeah, let's do it. And it's been underwhelming to say the least, you know. But that's what happens when you're a poorly constructed them. Yeah, so it happens when you're a poorly constructed club and you get that.
Yep. Yeah, Carr says, if you guys want defense, why not go for Lukaku? He's great at stopping shots. Oh my God!
By the way, I wouldn't mind Lukaku in this lineup.
Oh, I wouldn't either. That was a huge loss that we weren't able to get him last year. Huge.
I mean, damn, 40 million plus Lukaku. Give me that, dude.
I think, what was it, 25 or 30?
That was 40. I think it was like, no, I think Chelsea wanted 30 to 25, we wanted 40 plus Lukaku. That was the
Dude, even if we would have met at around 35, dude, you would have had a striker right now and 35 million in addition in cash.
Oh, that's so frustrating. And it's like I don't even need Lukaku to score like 25, 30 goals. I just need him to facilitate the play. Oh my goodness. Wow. And people still make fun of him, but it is what it is. Maple Dave says I hear Bonucci is available.
I heard he retired.
Personally, if we're gonna talk about this, then let's just unretire Chiellini. If that's the case.
He's
Hey,
getting that broadcasting money.
He's joining the staff if I'm correct, like management staff.
Yeah, more on the financial side. I think he's going to be reporting to the CEO.
Yeah, he got an MBA while he was still playing at Juve, which is actually pretty impressive. 10 Toes Down says Mario Gila is the next Serie A superstar center back. Mark my words.
But I don't want to talk to Lotito about it. Sorry.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck getting anything. Two clubs you can't get anything from is Lotito and Torino. Let's think about.
No, you're not gonna get it to any club. It's just clearly like I think like what 90%, I'd say 91% of every club in the league is literally putting like an embargo on Juventus. If anything, it's just gonna cost 10 times more the valuation. Look at what happened with Retegui. They wanted 40 million, 30 million, and then they like go, oh, okay, Atalanta, we'll give it to you for 23. Literally, this is like sanctions. Like they've imposed sanctions on Juve. That's what it is.
Who remembers Osvaldo and Borella? Holy smokes. I remember Osvaldo. Holy hell. That was like, what, 10 years ago?
You're talking about Bordiello. I think you're talking about Bordiello, if I remember.
Bone says we should have kept playing Keane. He ruined it. He ruined it with his mixtape. Gonzalez can also play the 9.
I think he scored today.
He did. Finally.
Hey, he's the king of the preseason, man.
He's finally scored when he left. You know how funny that would be if Nico Gonzalez like plays so well that he benches Dusan and plays the 9? Oh, I would die laughing.
Oh, from one Fiorentina striker to another one.
I cringe when I hear that. Dawson says, remember what I'm going to say? Keane, when he's 30, is going to be the highest goal scorer in Serie A. Nope, I don't want Lukaku. He's disgusting to watch. He plays like he's wearing jeans.
That's a good one. But if I can pass, or if I could ever pass as good as he's passing in jeans, man.
What does that make Dusan look like when he plays?
Dusan's got the first touch of a 5-year-old. I'm sorry.
And also the movements of
it's tough when you say you're a number 9 and you can't receive a pass and you can't hold up play. It doesn't really kind of defeat the purpose of having a 9.
What can you do?
Yeah, it defeats the purpose. It
and
really does.
Not even a great finisher. So, yeah.
I don't know what to say about it. Like, I have no opinions. Like, he better get his fucking shit together. That's all I'm gonna say. He's got to get his crap together.
He better to bring me 50 million next summer.
We gotta have Vanya. She has to step it up.
How many goals does Broccoli here need to score in order to at least give us 50 million next summer?
25.
If he's underneath that,
yeah, 30 goal contributions at least.
He needs 30 contributions in all competitions.
Yeah.
Oh man, we are doomed. Sorry.
Which, with the amount of games, right? I think we're playing maybe 50. Sal, you might know more than I do on that, but I think we're playing roughly around 50 games.
If we reach the final and everything, I believe it was 65 games or whatever.
So I'm lowballing it. I'm lowballing it at around 50, right? If he goes 1 goal a game, we hit it. We hit it.
Yep, or a goal contribution a game.
If he gives us a goal contribution per game, we will sell him for 120.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
We'll make our money back. We'll break even at this point.
Do I think that's
Dude,
gonna happen?
The
No.
problem is even if an offer comes in, who gives him a contract like we did? I don't think he's going.
I'm scared. It's my thought is it'll probably like if I want to be a pessimist about this. I mean, it's very possible it could be anywhere from like 17 to 20, and even that's underwhelming considering how
no,
much
that
you're
is.
paying them.
Well,
You
you're
know what I
paying.
mean? It is what
You're
it is.
playing offensive.
Highest he gets is 22. That's really what I'm thinking.
And even then,
That's not good.
and even
I
then,
mean, yeah, you're right. I agree with that. It's not good, but right now with the way he's playing, the problem is that like he just can't finish it. Like, okay, you want to put in the work, fine, but at least be there at the right place at the right time and just finish the fucking thing.
The issue is he's got a poor read of through balls. He's got a poor read of everything. Like you watch his goals at Fiorentina, they're practically tap-ins where the ball's coming at him in stride and he just redirects it into the net. Dude, when you're playing at an elite club, they actually scheme against you. Like they'll start scheming at you. So it's like it's not like how it is at Fiorentina. Like he popped off for 6 months, and again, that was what I want to say. It was the beginning. Yeah, it was the beginning of Italiano ball, where people weren't really sure on how to scheme against it. And then once people figured out how these guys played and how they did, he hasn't been the same since. So it's just like I get irritated because for me, it's like I see people take 6 months and say, okay, that's enough equity to put this person in the world elite. That to me is like that's insane.
The problem is he has that one spell where he gives us hope, where he scores, I don't know, 6 goals in 3 or 4 games or whatever. And then he goes the next 4 games without a goal contribution or whatever. That's man, that inconsistency is incredible to me. Because one game he looks like a genius. He can't finish with his right foot. All of a sudden he gives you a cross from the edge of the box or whatever, and I don't know where he's pulling that from. And in the next game, like he can't finish a tap in with his left strong foot.
I feel like
It's crazy.
modern players these days, they lack the mental toughness. Like they're very fragile
Absolutely.
players. Like the thing is like when he screws up, he's out of the game for the rest of the
Absolutely.
90 minutes. But when he pops off, he does well. Like I'm not gonna like sit here and just trash the guy all the time. I feel like when he can do it, he does really well. But when he can't, it's like he's lost in the sauce. That's the problem, and that's where the maturity has to come in. Like you have to be mature. Like I don't know how to tell anybody. Like you got to look up to like Cristiano Ronaldo, and he's not even like my biggest fan, but like when it comes to mental toughness, you got to look up to him. So
yeah, but 22 million a season, you gotta be consistent. You have to be consistent at that price tag. You can get away, for example, if he was on, 4-5 million a season, way more wiggle room, way more. But at this point, where you're paying this amount of money and the production's not there, why am I paying for this? Because there was games that Milik came in, looked effectively better. There were games where Keane was there was numerous instances in the previous season where you had substitutes and a youth player look better than him.
for sure. Hopefully, though, the Coop Miners deal goes through.
I hope.
And give him a little bit better. Obviously, I do expect him to score more, but this also has a little bit of a leeway as well to maybe help him out to get him to do better, so that way we could just ship him out.
Imagine Coop.
Well, the issue is like when you look at the issue, it's still Dusan is still being spent more than Coop Myers is. Like there's still more monetary investments in Dusan than there was in Coop. And it's like that just to me that makes Dusan look even worse.
100%.
Imagine Coop Miners after the first practice with Vlahovic, he says, "Oh no, get me the hell out of here! I don't want to assist this bum."
Where'd you find this guy?
At the end of the day, the thing is that like we're cleaning up, we're mitigating, and we're cleaning up all of the mistakes for the past 4 years, including the Arriva Bene. Obviously, this was a mistake. It is what it is. we're cleaning. We're trying to clean up the Chiesa situation. Now, I mean, the Weston McKennie situation kind of bit us. Like, even though he did well, that's also one of those cases. And then you have the Arthur Melo. That was one of the worst deals.
Absolutely.
Honestly, single-handedly, I hated it. I was not happy about it. The moment Pjanic left, our midfield died. That was it. That was the
And
reality.
and the crazy thing, Jeff, not only in Juventus history, it is one of the worst, like, plain and simple football deals ever.
Yes, to me, I've never liked that player. I saw him at Barcelona. There was nothing. I was not wowed by him. He had no creativity. He was good with the ball, but the problem is he had no vision. I don't know what was he there for. Like, I had no idea. Like, to me, it was one of the worst deals I ever witnessed. I want him out. That was it. Weston's got to go. We got to sell Kostic as well. And and obviously, hopefully, increase the value for Dusan in order to ship him out to maybe hopefully Premier League. That's a wishful thinking. I just hope, but maybe he can pop off with this new team. But it's gonna take time, and unfortunately, the way I see it now, I think we are going to bite the bullet till the mid-October because we got to get used to playing with each other.
Yeah.
You got to remember what Carr says, though. You gotta. It's the quote of the day. Wrap it up, or you bite the bullet.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Sounds like a condom commercial.
This is literally the wrap it up thing. I was watching it on the Chappelle show years ago. Like, I think it was a skit with Dave Chappelle. But yeah, literally you have to wrap it up, and you gotta like finish the deal now with Cup Miners. You fucked up with Tolibo. It's okay. Learn, move on. Time to go with Cup Miners. Let's get this thing going, and let's just keep on the train, keep on moving the train, and get it going.
Get the Jeff train going. Bones says, I feel like so many youth players don't have football IQ. They just have pace and dribbles,
100%.
which is why X or Twitter loves these guys, because most of the people that are on there don't have the big attention spans to really look at things.
Look, the crazy thing is, like, as athletes, the footballers or football players these days are the most athletic players we ever saw. But the football IQ, like Bone said, is incredibly bad. Like, you rarely have players like Bellingham, for example, is an intelligent player. And you rarely have in this generation players that are intelligent like him. Or that grown up yet.
So, like, everybody's like, oh, they're athletic, they're fast, and all of this. To me, it's meaningless. I don't understand that. Like, I never thought like Pirlo was this omega athlete, but the way that he played and his footballing IQ was insane. It's not like I thought Iniesta was this like, speedster, but at the end of the day, the way he maneuvered the ball, the way he was making the off-ball movements and the through balls were amazing. It's like sometimes like, yeah, like you gotta understand the game. And even when I'm playing pickup, I hate playing with teenagers. I hate having like an 18-year-old, a 20-year-old who thinks he's like the top of the world, the king of the hill of the field, and then like doesn't like pass, doesn't understand the game, and thinks he can take on like everybody, and then like can't score, can't do none of that, and he just gives me high blood pressure at the end of the day.
And then you go studs up on him? Is that what you're saying? Is that how that story ends?
Usually just grab him by the ear and tell him to get the hell out. Like,
the question is, will we see Federico Chiesa in the 2028 Olympics running for Italy's track and field competitions?
It's tough. It's
well,
by consequence. Sorry, hold on one second. By consequence, you have to play these kids. You're gonna have to, and a lot of the ones that we already saw, they're either already sold or they're asking to leave.
Yeah.
The Hassas, right? The Nonj, like they're looking because they want more playing time. So until you have unless you're talking about Barcelona's youth squad, you know what I mean? we're going to have to go through those growing pains. It's
Yep.
just a
And by
consequence
the way,
of where we're at.
and by the way, Barca's La Masia as well. Like they have one or two talents like every couple of years popping off, like actual big talents. Percentage wise, they don't. Numbers wise, yes, like they have talents, but percentage wise of all the players that they are of all the players that they are producing, not a lot of them are popping off. Like how many of the talents that Barcelona saw that everybody said they were world-class talents like popped off? Artur is one of them, for example.
No. Obviously, like Barcelona. It's every academy now. Even honestly, low key, I've always thought like Chelsea produced a lot of talents. Like you had Salah, you had Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah.
So it was like Chelsea would do it. Yeah.
All right, Dash. Do you want to break up the silence? Because
I mean, I'm sorry.
I was looking for an opinion of you as well.
There we go. I broke it.
Fuck you.
There we go. Made it awkward. All
And
right.
still
Anyways,
that
acknowledge me. Yeah. Let's read some chat. Hey, there we go. I broke up the awkwardness. Are you talking about Chiesa again? I don't want to talk about him. Stop it. We don't. We're done. I'm gonna see. We'll find something. I'll see if there's anything good to talk about news-wise. I don't think there is. The only thing that there's really out there right now
we
is,
beat all the dead
horses.
horses.
We've beaten all the dead horses. Obviously. Just to recap, we talked some Gonzalez. Toti gone. Unfortunately, Todibo is not here. Obviously, the one thing that we didn't touch on is that Juve play Atletico Madrid in Sweden tomorrow. We didn't mention that, but we did kind of say that someone did not get called up because he's not on the right.
And don't get your hopes up for this game either, guys. So
no, I don't think anything's gonna happen. To be honest, like on top of that, Atletico just did a mega signing with Alvarez. That was a really good signing, but I don't know
but they paid too much, man. They paid way too much.
Yeah, I agree. I think 60 mil would have been perfect.
Yeah, but 75 is crazy.
If he's 75,
was it 80? 75 or 80?
If he's 75, how much is Lautaro worth?
70. No, but I don't know.
He's probably
no. It was again the Premier League the Premier League tax, man. You want to buy a player for Manchester City? That's the price tag. They don't need to sell. They have all their numbers on their side. If you want to buy a player from them, they can demand whatever they want.
I think in this hyper-inflated market, obviously I do think it's like insanely inflated. Lautaro would probably be 120 for the Prem. Like they could probably splash 120 or at least 190 mil at least at the moment. It could probably go down as he's getting older, but right now he's probably at the height of his career. Yep. With Alvarez, obviously, like I think he's one of my favorite prospects at the moment. Like he's probably one of my favorite strikers.
By the way, he would be great in our system.
I don't know if he's going to do well with Atletico. Like he could do well, and he might not. It might not fit him, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think Alvarez would be great for our system because he can pass. His positioning is incredible. He can vault the wingers. He would have been great for our system, but yeah, deals like that are completely out of possibility.
He would have been great and replace the Dusan. Yeah, he would be phenomenal.
Yep.
He would have been the perfect profile player. I think he can finish.
Yep.
He's great with the ball. He's great with movements. Honestly, he's been one of my favorite players, up and coming now. Yeah, I get.
Sorry, I just saw the message Frankie sent about LA Knight looking like he was at a dating show. Oh man, going back to earth here. I still think it's kind of pure comedic genius how Man City is able to sell rejects or bench players for over 60 million. That does not that. Still, how does that happen?
Yeah, dude. Manchester City if we wanted or not, they got themselves into the situation where they are incredibly set up, like from scouting to their club is one of the best run club in the world, maybe next to Real Madrid, and they got themselves in this situation. Yeah, you can argue legally or illegally with their 115 charges that still aren't judged by a court yet. But they are in this situation, and for now, like we have to take it like it is. Like they will they are too big to fail now. Whatever the judgment is, if they go down to the second or third division, which they will never do, by the way, because they got the judges and everything in their back. But they are here to stay. They will even if they change coaches. They can buy whatever they want and do whatever they want. So,
they're definitely here to stay when it comes to that aspect of it. I think even after Pep leaves, I still think they're going to be competitive. So
they may not be as dominant as they are right now and win title after title, but they will always be up there, and fighting for it.
Man City will just simply get a slap on the wrist. Nothing
absolutely
will happen. They will be fine. Pep will leave. He'll get his hiatus, like a year or two hiatus. Man City will replace the coach. They'll be fine.
Yeah. All right, folks, let's end this bad boy here. We had some fun here. We're at an hour and 27 minutes. So obviously, some housekeeping things. Like and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Also, join le Discord so you can see some really ironic takes, funny takes, and some other conversations. And according to Goose, Como is gonna be a dark horse for Serie A this year. You heard it from Goose. But there you go. There's the QR code over, Sal. No, we love you. We love you, Goose. Goosey Goose. But Como is not going that high on the table. Just relax. I think he's just trying to
get 3 points in their first game.
I don't know how I would feel about that, to be honest with you. If Como beats us in the first game of the season, I don't know. Like I don't know what I'm gonna look for.
Full panic. That's what you're gonna say.
Pure anarchy. I want to see if everyone's shitting bricks or if
even if we go on a 37 game winning streak after that. Oh my god.
Well, I'm not even worried about the loss. I think I'm worried about a tie.
I'm thinking
that would be even more annoying.
I'm thinking more as a tie or like a 2-1 or 3-2 victory for Juve. I'm just really terrified of that defense we have. I think we have a very leaky defense.
Oh, absolutely.
I feel like we've manifested the Zerbi-esque type situation where we'll probably score, but we're going to get like goals given to us as well.
The problem is we need a center back. That's our main problem.
Yeah, I mean, the only team that didn't score against us was a bunch of 20-year-olds. Everybody else scored 2 to 3 goals on us, so that's gonna be something.
It's gonna go up tomorrow. It's gonna go up tomorrow. So.
5 or 6. But as I regress to all of the I want offensive football, y'all asked for this.
Julian Alvarez will destroy us tomorrow. He will bend us over.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, because there's always going to be people that'll say, I bet you people are going to go out there and say a certain guy would have made sure that we didn't lose like that. No, a certain somebody would have made sure he didn't lose that bad or concede that much. But hey, look, it's out my hands. The Dash prophecy back then, I said, be careful what you wish for. Certain things will happen. Guess what? Chiesa got kicked out of the roster. That's step 1. Step 2, defense ain't looking that good. Step 3, my third prediction was there's going to be a slow start to the season. So 2 for 3 right now. Might make it 3.
Fourth prediction, Kabbalah starter.
That's also another thing that we got right. So I'm just telling you, folks. Sit down and buckle up, and I don't want to hear anyone say, gee, I wish Allegri was here. Because as the music hits, folks have lost privileges besides the Emperor Allegri stands that we have here. You guys can still say that. But look, it's going to be interesting. Let's see what happens against Buddy. Let's see how Mr. Milton handles the team that is the master of the shithouse. Because shithouse masters are really difficult this style of play. So we'll see how Moto looks up against Simeone, and we'll recap that on the Colin Show on Wednesday. Obviously, if the Nico Gonzalez deal does go through, you'll probably see us here make a quick 15-minute video on how that works and how it goes tactically in all respects to that. Obviously, just pending on the deal there, but we'll see you again on Wednesday. Then we'll do a call-in show on Saturday, and then obviously we're still in the Formula One break. Since there's no F1 stuff to cover, we won't be covering it. And on that note, thanks for tuning into The Dive. We'll see you on the next one.